Greetings. This is Justin Allen with the Elite Nurse Practitioner. Welcome to the Elite Nurse Practitioner Show, podcast dedicated to nurse practitioner entrepreneurism and achieving financial freedom, where I talk directly with nurse practitioners who need help. Listen up, our market is saturated. Jobs can be scarce. We are underpaid. We are undervalued. We are taken advantage of by the sharks within the healthcare system, and frankly, screw that. I'm sick of it, and it's time for a change. And listen, I'm here to help make that happen. We are powerful. We can forge a path where we are in control of our career and ultimately our financial and personal well-being. You do not need to submit to healthcare administrators and your doctor overlords. You do not have to take a measly salary. You do not have to work 50 to 60 hours a week. There is a different way, and I'm here to show you that path. This podcast is raw and unfiltered. I have not talked to the nurse practitioners in this podcast prior to the call outside of an email exchange to schedule the episode. What you're about to listen to is a consultation session between a nurse practitioner and myself. It is real, it is unscripted, it is unplanned, and I have no idea what we're going to talk about. Anything and everything can happen during our conversation. The nurse practitioners in these episodes are struggling with an issue in their professional or financial life, and they have reached out to me for help. My goal is to help the nurse practitioner with actionable advice that will enhance and improve their professional, business, and financial life. My other goal is to hopefully help my nurse practitioner sisters and brothers build a more productive, powerful, and free life. So I hope the content and information within these podcast episodes does just that. All right, onto the episode. Hello, everyone. Today we'll be talking to Marie, who is an adult and gero nurse practitioner. Currently, she is working full-time doing Medicare home risk assessments, but also does mobile, primary, and acute care visits. She's wanting to start a wellness practice, but unsure of what services to provide. She's needing assistance figuring out what to provide and how to get the business up and running. Hey, Marie, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for hopping on here. So bring us up to speed with where you're at. So you're an adult gero nurse practitioner, and you've been doing some Medicare home risk assessments, yeah?
Yes. Thank you for having me.
No, you're welcome. Yeah, so just tell us a little bit about your background.
Okay, so I've been a nurse for about 13 years. I worked in ICU. I've done long-term care, med surg. I've been an NP for about 6 to 7 years now. And, I graduated. It was hard to find a job. So I ended up going into teaching right away. And I've worked for wellness clinics for about 6 years now as a 1099. But majority of my experience has been in primary care and doing home visits.
So you've been a nurse practitioner for how long?
6 years.
6 years. Okay, gotcha. All right. And how long have you been doing the Medicare home risk assessments for?
For this company, it's been about a year now.
Okay. And before that, you were doing it for another year or two?
Yes. For a different company.
Okay. How do you like it?
It's okay. I do enjoy, talking to patients and helping them out, but I'm out in the rural area and it's really hot here. And, some days I'm driving over 100 miles. So it has its difficulties.
Yeah, that's kind of the issue with, mobile house call kind of stuff. You're spending a lot of time in the car. I did home health as an RN for a while. The freedom's great, though.
Yes. It's nice that I don't have to, I'm by myself. So there's not a lot of office politics. So I like that aspect. But, some of the homes you go into, sometimes it's kind of rough.
Oh, yeah.
That's the downside, and the animals and, the pests.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So.
Side story. I'm kind of going to go off track here, but I just had this flashback of this home that I visited when I was an RN doing home health. I remember walking to this guy's house and the floor was so saturated with dog piss that the floor would sink every time you stepped. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? I didn't put my bag down. I stood up the entire time. I can't believe people live like this. It just, anyways, having some home health flashbacks here, but.
Yes. So that's the downside of the job. And some of these homes, you're right. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can't breathe. I can't sit.
Right.
Trying to get in and out.
Yeah. In and out as quick as possible. Yeah. Okay, so I'm assuming you probably make a pretty decent income doing this?
You would think so, but the salary is about $122, and then we get a quarterly bonus based on some metrics. If we meet certain matrix, it's like we get a couple $1,000s if we make it, but it's not guaranteed.
I got you. So you make probably $130,000 a year, something like that.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Not terrible. How many hours a week do you work?
So we're scheduled 8 to 5, but sometimes with cancellations and meetings. So we're charting probably definitely 40.
Yeah. Okay. Some weeks are better than others, I'm assuming.
Yeah, some weeks
Yeah.
are shorter.
Okay, cool. All right. So I'm assuming you're probably going to maintain this job as you get started with your business at first.
Yeah, ideally, I would like to drop down to maybe 3 days a week until I get the practice up and running.
Okay. I think that's a smart move. And if you drop part time, 3 days a week or whatever, that's not going to cause any significant financial strain on you.
No, it shouldn't.
It shouldn't. Okay, perfect. So you should go in this with pretty low anxiety and really low financial needs, sounds like.
Anxiety, but financially, I'm okay.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm talking about like financial anxiety, like stressing out about paying bills and stuff. A lot of people that jump into entrepreneurship jump in full time and they quit their job, which I think is not the wisest decision because, unless you have a very, very large nest egg, it's usually not a good idea. So I'm glad to hear that you should be okay going part time. So then I guess tell me about your thoughts. So you want to start a little wellness practice. Tell me kind of where your mind's going with that.
Okay. I've been working for a wellness practice for about 5 to 6 years now, and they do everything. So I'm a 1099, so I don't work there full time, but they offer weight loss, aesthetics, ozone therapy, anything that falls into wellness. I feel like we offer IV infusion. I don't really participate in the cosmetic side because there's an injector who does it, but I mostly have been doing the hormones and the weight loss. So that's what I'm comfortable doing.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, weight loss is, a very high dollar service. So, I mean, if you feel pretty good with that, I mean, that's going to be a pretty large bulk of what you're going to provide. So that's good.
Yes. So my issue is in the area where I live. So I live outside of Houston, and there's a lot of clinics here. But in the town that I live in one of the suburbs. There's no really designated weight loss clinic. There's some primary care offices who are offering it. A lot of urgent cares on their website says weight loss, but I'm not driving around and seeing a weight loss clinic. Or I think there's one IV infusion that's about to open. They're not even open yet. Or men's health. There's none of that in my area. And my subdivision alone has about 20,000 people.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So you're in the Houston area where, yeah, like you said, it's very saturated in, certain areas for certain things. So where you're at though, how far is the nearest competition, I guess?
So for weight loss, I would say, so I know there's a family practice doctor who does it. I would say from my house, maybe within like a few miles, 5 miles, but she offers so many things.
Right. That's not her focus.
Yes, it's not her focus. Clinics that have that focus probably would be a 20-minute drive.
Gotcha. But within that 20-minute drive, you're talking about hundreds of thousands of people here.
Yes.
Lots of people. Yeah. Okay.
Lots of people. Yes.
Lots of people. Okay, good. All right. So it sounds like you've done your homework here. So you want to do some weight loss. What other services are you thinking about?
What I couldn't decide is because there are some clinics within a 20-30 minute drive that I figured probably those people were in my area. They're probably going to those clinics. And since no one is really specializing in either women's health or men's health, that I couldn't figure out if it would be good strategy to just maybe do a men's health clinic because there's none here.
Okay. I know there's a lot in Houston, but in your area, there's really not a whole lot.
Yes, there's a lot in Houston, and it's usually one clinic that have like 7 or 8 different offices. There's some in the town next to me. I'm wedging between 2 smaller suburbs of Houston, and they each have a bunch there, but there's nothing where I live in my town.
Gotcha.
And there's a lot of people in my town.
I gotcha. So men's health, weight loss. Would you just want to focus on men's HRT or would you offer women's as well?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like at the clinic where I work, most of the men do come in for testosterone, majority of them that I've seen.
Right. So I think that with a weight loss clinic, you're going to be treating men and women at the weight loss clinic, right? So I feel like that if you don't offer women's HRT as well, I feel like you're going to be losing a lot of business. So I feel like you definitely need to have that as a service line, just FYI.
Okay. So for example, my town itself, there's about 80,000 people in the city.
Perfect.
So Do you recommend making it into like one generic like wellness clinic that offer both men and women services, or maybe start as one and then down the line like do a separate clinic?
If
That's
there's
what I couldn't figure out.
Yeah, it's a difficult question, right? I mean, I'm a fan of specialized niches, offer just one service to a very specialized demographic. But on the other side of the coin, though, I am a fan of wellness practices that offer services to both men and women and multiple different services because they do complement each other. And so I lean more towards the general wellness practice offering multiple services when there's not really a whole lot of competition in the area. So like, for example, let's say that there was 3 weight loss clinics there, an IV infusion clinic in your town, but there wasn't a men's health clinic. Then I would say, yes, do men's health because there's no one else there. You're delivering the need, right? I mean, there's a demand for it. But in your case, it doesn't seem like there's really a whole lot of anything in your town. So I feel like a wellness practice probably would do well because people are going to come to your practice for weight loss services. Okay. You advertise, semaglutide or phentermine or whatever for weight loss. People are going to come for those things, right? When they come, you start doing, comprehensive lab panels on them. You're checking hormones, this kind of a thing as part of the initial visit for even just a weight loss visit. There's basically upsells, right? There's different things that you can provide them, not just the weight loss. So if you're offering multiple services, then it increases the lifetime value of the customer, right? So instead of treating them for weight loss, let's say, semaglutide, for example, most patients on semaglutide will be on it for anywhere between 6 to 24 months usually. Okay, they lose their weight and they get off of it. Weight can rebound, yes. So, a lot of people are just doing like a very low dose maintenance dose. But in a lot of cases, people would just want to do it for 6 to 12 months. They lose 20, 30, 40 pounds, whatever it is, and they get off of it and they can maintain their weight through diet. Or you prescribe them Contrave or something like that to keep the appetite low. But the lifetime value of the customer for weight loss is 1 to 2 years typically, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like there's just like a very specific amount of time that you're going to make money off that patient, for example. And so if you include HRT, for example, most people in their 40s and 50s who start HRT aren't going to get off of it because they like the way they feel on it, the benefits, right? And so it increases the lifetime value of that customer, right? So instead of 6 months of services like from weight loss, now you got a patient you're going to have for multiple years. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Right. Yeah, the recurrent patient. That's how you build a practice. That's how you grow it. That's how you scale it. That's how you snowball the revenue in the practice. Okay. Yeah.
So how do you feel about IV infusion? So I know there's another clinic that's going to open maybe 5 miles from where I'm going to be. And they're going to offer their websites up. It's going to be IV therapy and injectables. I think that's the only thing they're going to offer.
So they're going to be basically a standalone thing for that. For a wellness practice, I think it's a great accessory service to have. I don't think it should be your focus. I think it's one of those things that's it's a great add-on, right? So you have like an a la carte basically system in your business, right? HRT, weight loss is like the foundational service that they want, right? But what if they want an IV, for example, right? So you have that as kind of a la carte kind of a thing, right?
Okay.
So you don't have to focus in on it, but it could be an additional service. I mean, that's pretty much what we do at my men's health clinic. Like we do not focus on IVs alone. It's just an accessory service, right? So standalone IV clinics do great depending on the market, but I don't think I'd worry too much about that. You don't need to do IVs. Weight loss and HRT are more profitable than IVs. IV infusion is a great service. It's profitable, but it can be a little bit more laborsome. I mean, mixing the bag, starting the IVs, managing the IVs, it is laborsome. It takes work. It takes time. Yeah. And so usually you have to have an RN or an LPN or whatever doing it for you. And so it just increases the complexity of your business. When if you are just starting out right now, I feel like you don't need that complexity right now in your business. I feel like weight loss and HRT, for example, I think that I just think it'd be a lot simpler for you. And it'd be something that'd be easy to grow and scale. And then you can add the IVs or vitamin injections or whatever, maybe 6 months from now.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't think you need to do it. Now, offering vitamin injections right from the start, that's low overhead, great margins. It's not laborsome. So you could do that from the beginning and people would like that. B12 and NAD and glutathione injections and stuff like that. People like
the lipo B. Okay.
Exactly. Stuff like that. They like it. And it's super simple to do. Like you just drop the glutathione in your blood, you just drop the NAD or the B12 or the B complex or whatever. You just give it as an injection, right? So it's a great little add-on service. Hey, this is a $50 injection, for example, or, you want to do NAD plus for, a cycle of 3 to 6 months. we charge $300 a vial or whatever. So it's just an additional revenue stream that you can add on. That's how you increase that value of the patient.
Okay. So one of the other questions that I had was, so I'm looking at spaces. I've seen quite a few spaces, office spaces, but in my area, I guess because, our average income, medium income, I think it's like over 100,000, maybe like 150 or something, or 120 the last time I looked at it, but the spaces are also more expensive. So most for a 1,200 square feet space, they're going around for like 2,800, 3,000. And there's like 4 exam room, most of them. Some of them are in those medical office buildings. So I'm having a hard time finding anything cheaper than that.
Yeah, spending $2,000 a month on an office space when you're first getting started is stress inducing, right?
Yeah.
It sounds like 2,000 on the lower end here.
Yes. So there's one spot that I found. There's a main highway. There's a lot of cars driving by. It's right there. But the rent would be like 3,000, and then it needs to be fully built out. It's just like there's no floors. It needs to be painted. There's just so much work that needs to be done.
Yeah, I do not recommend going that route as an initial startup. It's too much risk. It's too much investment. You're going from a basic wellness practice like this where you're offering weight loss, HRT, maybe some vitamin injections or something like this shouldn't cost more than $10,000 to get started. Okay, that's why I love these little niche practices. They're super cheap to start. When you start including a build out and things like that, you have just increased that to 50,000, 100,000. Like it goes up a lot. If the landlord, does the build out for you, they're going to roll over those costs into the rent. So with that said, do you know if that $3,000 a month includes the build out or
no?
Not? It doesn't.
No.
Yeah, you're
so
looking
they said I would have to pay for it out of pocket.
Yeah, you're building out someone else's property. I don't like doing that. You're basically increasing the value of someone else's property. You're going to do that. You'd be better off just trying to buying a space. You know what I mean? At least you own it. So
I did find another space that's off that main road, maybe like less than 1 block off the main road. You can't see it when you're on the highway, but you'd have to turn. It is about, I think it's $2,700 for 1,200 square feet, and they're fully built. They're new. So I wouldn't have to do anything, just bring in furniture.
Okay. What was the square footage you said?
I think it's about 1,200.
Okay. That's more than enough. Okay. You don't need more than that. That's fine. A wellness practice startup like this, 800 to 1,200 square feet is more than enough space. Okay. It's fine. You can grow into that space. That space will allow you to grow for multiple years. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's good. So the roadside frontage situation with that?
No, it's not. You would have to turn at the light, make a right at a light. It's not too far from the main highway, but it's not visible from the highway.
Can you put a sign out on the main highway? Or is there a billboard close?
There's no billboard, but sometimes I see those people put those things on the grass. But I don't know how big of a sign I can put out there.
Right, flags or whatever. So my advice for you here is to continue shopping around a little bit. The beautiful thing about this is that you can get your website up. You can get your EMR set up. You can get the processes. You can get all your procedures down. You can, take some of our courses, plan everything out basically, right? And then keep kind of shopping around for a space. And then once you find that space, your practice is basically built, inside of a computer and on paper, right? You get in there, furnish it, you can just basically hit the ground running. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So be as productive as you possibly can here. Utilize your time. Okay. Be as productive as possible. My second men's health practice was basically ready to go before I even found the second location, like before I actually even signed the lease. But as soon as we got in there, we opened up like a week later. Like it was that simple. That's what I would like to see happen with you.
Okay.
So I would say shop around a little bit. That space doesn't sound bad if it's built out. If they would let you sign a 1 to 2 year lease, even better.
Yeah, that's one thing I've been finding out. Everybody wants a 3 to 5 year lease.
Yeah. That's not a big deal if it's a highly sought after spot because, let's say you close down, someone would rent it out within months. You're not on the hook for much. You know what I mean? Basically, when you sign a lease and let's say you have to close your business and you have 2 years left on it, you have to pay that rent until someone else rents it. All right. So If this is off the road and it's been, listed for rent for a long time, then you're going to increase your risk there. So it depends on how desperate the landlord is. If the landlord's desperate, all right, they might let you do a 1 to 2 year and they might just charge you like an extra $100 a month or something. All right. That's what I did with my second men's health practice. They were like, okay, we'll do it for a year, but we're going to charge you a little bit more extra a month. Hey, you know what? That's fine.
Okay. The brand new space that I found, I guess also there's an option of renting a room because there's 4 rooms. You can rent 1 or 2 rooms out of there. But I don't know. What are your thoughts on using a service like that? I don't know who the other tenants would be.
Yeah. A couple episodes before this, I spoke to a nurse practitioner who was like killing it in like one of those shared office spaces. So like it can work. Right? I'm talking about like 6-figure a month killing it. Okay. It can work. Yeah, I guess it just depends on what who the other people are in there. You definitely don't want to have a competitor in there, but if it's complimentary stuff like beauty salons and things like that, then that might be something in your favor. Do you have any idea who else is in there at all?
No, it's brand new.
Brand new.
Leasing agent, he's offering, he did say he would allow a 1-year lease term, but right now there's nobody else in there. I would be the first one in there. Each room is about, I think he said
750 square feet?
No, and $750 per room.
Any idea how much square feet?
I would say they're probably maybe around 300 each room.
300? You can make 600 square feet work for, at first. Would they be able to connect them for you? Put a door in between them or something?
Probably not. So, because when you walk in, there's a reception area, and then there's like 1, 2, 3, 4 rooms, almost like 4 exam rooms, and then there's a bathroom and a
other
kitchen
rooms.
area.
I gotcha. Okay. And roadside frontage?
From the road, you can see it, but it's not off the highway.
Signage?
So I noticed nobody in the complex has like big flags or sign, but you can put stuff on your window, like the stickers.
Nah, no one can see that. Ask the landlord if you can put a sign out.
Okay.
You never know. Like my men's health practice, I talked to the landlord before I rented it. I was like, hey, you mind we come out here and put a sign up? We're going to dig 3 feet in the ground. We're going to put a big old 8-foot post up. We're going to build a big sign out. She was like, yeah, go ahead. It's fine.
Oh, okay.
Just ask
So
them.
maybe-
Like, you never know,
Yeah. So maybe I'm wondering, who do you ask, like on a main highway, if you could put a sign off the highway?
It's going to be whoever owns the property. So like if that landlord owns the property and then it goes up to the road, like at the parking lot or something, you should just be able to just ask the landlord.
Okay. But
Yeah.
what about a main highway? Is it the city that you go through and ask permission?
Yeah, no, it's going to have to be whoever owns the property. Like, I highly doubt any kind of city is going to allow you to build a sign on public land. The only option there would be, a billboard, for example. So, like, if you have a billboard that's close to the practice, then you can put it up on there and put a big arrow, turn left now, something like that.
Okay.
But then you're paying money for a billboard, and that's $500 to $2,000 a month. Like, don't get too stuck on the road signage. Okay, it's a good thing to have, because it's just going to increase your walk-in traffic, okay? It just will. But you don't need it. Like, as long as you have your online marketing presence dialed in, like I explained in the courses, okay? Your Google business listing, a Google search ad, plenty of social media pages. Like, as long as you are easily found online, then the roadside frontage thing is not a make it or break it thing, okay? It will be a little slower compared to if you had a roadside sign, but it's not going to be that significant. 10, 20% difference, something like that. Then after a couple years, once word of mouth starts and that kind of a thing, and then it doesn't even matter, right?
Okay, so it's not worth paying an extra $1,500 to $2,000 a month for rent just to be on the main road.
In your situation as a startup, I don't think so. I would recommend against it. I would advise against it. I would not do that.
Okay.
It's too much risk. I don't want you going in this super stressed out. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lean business is a easy business. A cheaply started business is a business that is cheaply closed down.
Okay.
An expensive business is a business that's expensive to shut down. All right. Like, drill that into your mind. Like, anyone listening to this right now, drill that into your mind. A cheaply started business is a business that can be cheaply shut down. But when you have 3-year leases and these build outs, you have a lot of money invested, and it is hard to step away from it if things go south.
Okay.
You always have to remember that things can go south when you start a business. There is no guarantees. All right. But you've done your due diligence. There's not a whole lot of competition. You're delivering in-demand services. Your odds are high that it will succeed. Okay. So always have it in the back of your mind that the business could fail. It is a possibility. All right. So have contingencies surrounding that. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So the shared office space might be your better bet because that's going to be lower risk. And I think 2 offices is all you would need.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
So that would put me down for maybe $1,500 a month for rent.
yeah,
So,
that's not bad. And ask the landlord. He sounds like he's motivated because it's empty. Ask him, hey, you might put a door in between these 2 offices. They probably will. It
okay.
costs them a couple $100 to do that. It's nothing.
Okay.
Or ask them if you can do it. Like you got a brother or some family or something come in and help you do that over a weekend. Like, it's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
hard.
I could get someone to come in and
Okay.
install the door.
Yeah, there's nothing to it. You just get a sledgehammer, you break it open, you build a frame, you pop a door, and it's not that hard, you know?
Okay.
Yeah. So ask them if they could do that. If you could do that, that would be fantastic. Then you have like a little 2 rooms that are connected. You could have your own little private, like little waiting area or something, or maybe some chairs for some IV infusions. Then you have like your little consultation room. You're going to need to be creative here. You're going to need some shelves and some cabinets to store some stuff and that sort of a thing. So do keep that in mind. You will need to be a little creative here.
Okay.
All right. I hope everyone's enjoying the episode so far. I just wanted to take a quick break to thank everyone listening and also give a big thank you to all of my social media followers and email subscribers. If you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to our email list at www.elitenp.com and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Email subscribers will receive updates on new weekly podcast episodes, multiple weekly articles we publish, new courses, and everything else related to helping you succeed. Remember, all elite nurse practitioner courses are designed to help you build a niche practice, increase your financial strength, and to break free from the rat race. If I can break free and that other countless nurse practitioners can break free, then so can you. Additionally, please share this podcast with your other nurse practitioner sisters and brothers out there. The more NPs that venture out on their own, the stronger our profession will become. Now, let's get back to the episode.
How do you feel about having a bathroom in the unit? Like I saw some spaces, but they didn't have bathrooms. And I was thinking, if a patient's having an IV infusion, they're going to have to use a public bathroom with a pole.
It's a shared space, right? They can just walk out and there's a bathroom right there, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, that's fine. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about that. You don't need a sink.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't need a sink in there. That's not really necessary. If you are going to be doing IVs, you do need somewhere to dispose of the waste and things like that. But for a standard practice like this, you're mostly just going to be putting stuff in the trash,
Okay.
You'll need like some biohazard. You'll need a little biohazard trash can to throw the needles and stuff in, but you really don't need a sink inside the room. A lot of people get hung up on that. It's really not necessary. You got alcohol dispensers to wash your hands and stuff with, right?
Okay. So that cleared up that.
Yeah. Yeah. So don't worry too much about that.
Okay.
Your goal here is to just get started. Okay. Don't get analysis paralysis over little things. Ingrain that into your mind here. Just don't. All right. Just keep getting things done that get that door open. Don't get hung up on small things. I wrote an article on the Elite MP website, $100 questions versus $10,000 questions. You need to be focused on the $10,000 questions, not the little nitpicky, piddly little things.
Okay, because I kept thinking I need one in the main highway and I couldn't find any. I found one, but it was so expensive.
Yeah.
And then it was like, I need a bathroom. I need rooms with sinks. And, I started thinking about all these things and I was just like, get stuck.
It would be nice to have that stuff, right? To be on a main highway and a big sign and have all this, but unless you have a lot of money to invest in this, I don't think it's a good idea. Speaking of which, what is your startup budget here?
I do have about 15 to 20K to invest.
And if things went south and you lost that money, would that be a big pain for you, or would it just kind of suck and just move on with life?
It would suck. I would cry a little bit.
Well, of course you would. Anyone would. Okay.
It wouldn't be the end of the world.
Okay. It's not your life savings. I got you. All right. That's basically what I was trying to get to. Okay. $15,000, $20,000 is more than enough here. It's still not going to be enough though for one of those really high dollar places though, right?
No.
Yeah. It's still going to be a lot more. Yeah. So anyways, if you go with the $750 space, you're probably going to spend a lot of money on marketing just to kind of get people to know that you're there. Now, the other space was how much? $2,700, and it was 1,200 square feet?
Yeah, so it's that same space. So I can rent all 4 rooms for
Oh,
$2,700, or I can rent
oh.
1 or 2 or 3, or
So,
yes, that same space.
okay. So if you rented the whole place, you get the reception area, the kitchen, the bathroom, like you get it all.
Yes.
Ooh, man, that's
And no one else will be able to come in. But if I
right.
do 1 or 2 rooms, I guess I don't have any control who my other roommates would be.
Yeah, you have no clue, right? Like, what if there's a tattoo shop right there? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, just something that's just
Yeah.
like, okay. I mean, I wouldn't mind, bro. I mean, I have tattoos. I wouldn't care. Like, hey, I'm gonna get a tattoo. Get my prescription for testosterone replacement therapy all in the same place. Cool. But a lot of people probably wouldn't like that, right? So yeah, I think that yeah, talk to the landlord, see if you can get that down a little bit. Be like, listen, I'll take all this from you. Just negotiate a little bit. Did he say that
Okay.
he'd rent them all out to you for a year, or that would only be room to room?
Yeah, I did briefly ask him, can we negotiate the terms? He's like, yeah, we could do 1 year, but I didn't negotiate price with his. The listing price is 2,700. So I'm wondering if he would go down to 2,500 if I said I'll take all the rooms.
I bet he would. And you don't need to do anything to this. It is like ready to go. You could just start moving furniture in and get started.
Yes, I don't need to do anything.
And you are positive there's nothing else cheaper.
Not in my area. Now, I could go 40 minutes to a different town that doesn't have any of these services at all, where they still have to drive 20 to 30 minutes. But at that space, I'm still paying. Is it inside of one of those medical professional office buildings? There's no
Yeah, like,
main road. It's inside the town, and it's almost the same price. I think she quoted me 2,500 for around the
nah,
same square footage.
screw that. I wouldn't fool with that. All right. So, yeah, so this space sounds like it's pretty decent. So, like I said before, this is what I would do if I was you. I would, get the process started. Okay. Get everything squared away, your EMR, your pricing, your membership, start working on the content on your website. Like, you can get a lot of this stuff done now. All right.
Mhm.
And then shop around maybe for another month or so, see if maybe something cheaper comes up. Or if you want to, just, take the space, roll the dice and say hell with it and get going. I mean, it sounds like you're in a pretty good spot. So have you took any of our courses?
Yeah, I took the weight loss course.
Okay.
And the more I was doing when I got to the point of doing the market research, because I wasn't even thinking of being in my area, I thought, I was like, let me find a town that doesn't have anything. So I did find one, but
Smart
it's
move.
40 minutes drive from me. And then when I was doing my market research, I realized there's not too many of where I live. And this is a pretty affluent area, and there's money there. I don't know why there's no services there. I
People
don't know.
listen. Yeah, people would come to you to save a 20-30 minute drive. Okay. Yeah. I mean, absolutely. 100%. Okay. So you have the course. So you have you have the step by steps here, right? Like, I mean,
Yes.
everything's there for you. Okay. So you might want to take the HRT courses if you're going to include that as a complimentary service. All right. But I mean,
Yes, that's what I was thinking.
yeah, those 3 courses are pretty much all you need. Maybe the marketing course would be a good idea too. But outside of
Okay.
that, that's probably all you need at first. And then you can, like I said, get everything set up, talk to that landlord and see what kind of things that you can negotiate. A lot of the times, if you pay up front for a little bit, they will give you a little bit of a discount as well.
Hmm.
So if you got $15,000, $20,000 and you can negotiate $2,500 a month, if you paid 4 months in advance, you don't have to worry about it for 4 months. And then you have the other $10,000 to invest in the business, furniture and a nice website and, things like that. So
Okay.
the beautiful thing about this is that you don't need that much. It's a pretty simple model.
Right. So I was looking into supplies, and I was trying to think, pretty much basically what I need is an like a simple exam
Ah,
table.
you don't even need
And
that. Get a massage table. They're like $300. It worked just fine.
okay. And then a
Yep.
small. How do you feel about the blood? Do you collect blood in your office, or is it better to just send them to LabCorp or Quest?
Yes and no. We do collect blood on our cash pay patients. So we use Access Medical Labs. So, make sure you use them. Use the Elite MP discount that we got for you guys at, it's pretty significantly discounted labs. So for cash, you could do that. I draw those in clinic, and then UPS just comes by and picks them up, and then they get shipped over to Access. You get results in typically 48 hours. Okay, turnaround time's pretty good. With the patients who want to use their insurance, I will just give them an order and they can go wherever they want. So I allow my patients either or. Okay. Some wellness practices are very strict. It's cash only. You must pay cash for the labs, which is fine. You do get a little bit of margin, a little bit of a little uptick there. You're going to make a little extra money on there because you can charge an extra $50 or whatever. So it is an additional revenue stream in your practice, but it's not a significant revenue stream. So in my opinion, I feel like, as a cash-based practice, I think you should allow your patients the option to either use their insurance for labs because insurance typically will cover them, or just pay cash. So if they pay cash, draw them in-house. If they use their insurance, just give an order and they go to the lab, and the lab will deal with billing their insurance and stuff.
Okay.
Now, if you don't want to draw the labs, even cash-based stuff, if you use Access, they can go to a LabCorp and get the blood drawn for like $15 extra or something.
Okay. I was just thinking, since it's going to be just me in the beginning, it would be a lot more work to draw the blood. And I'm assuming there's patients waiting, but since in the beginning, it's probably going to be really slow.
Maybe. You never know. Right place at the right time, you can get busy pretty quick. Hopefully it does start a little bit on the slower side so you can work out the kinks and stuff, right? The first month or two, it's usually ideal to kind of slowly ease your way into it versus just going all out. Okay. Like I wouldn't spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars marketing the first month because it's a good idea to get your systems worked out, right?
So you're recommending not spending so much in the couple months to market?
In the first month or two, do not spend a lot of money marketing because you don't want to be too busy.
Okay.
Like that sounds counter to like, you don't want to be so busy that you're making a bunch of mistakes because you haven't experienced it yourself and you kind of worked out your own little procedures and stuff, right?
Okay.
Let's say hypothetically, you spend $5,000 first month marketing and you just get slammed with phone calls and appointments. Great for business. But how much more stressed are you now? Like you don't know the process, right? You've never done this before. So you're going to make a lot of mistakes. It's going to look very unprofessional. It's going to look very unorganized, right?
Oh.
But instead, let's say you just spend 1,000 or so and you get maybe 10 patients the first month. It's a nice way to kind of ease into it, right? You figure out the kinks, you figure out your workflows and that sort of a thing. Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So what you think $1,000 is a healthy budget, at least in the beginning?
$1,000 to $2,000. Yeah, I think that's plenty. I feel like that if you have your Google business listing optimized, you have some articles on your website with plenty of keywords in it, so Google finds you, maybe treat some friends or your first patients, really try to get them to write some good, solid Google reviews for you. I feel like if you just do those kinds of things, you will just organically get phone calls. And yeah, do you have any kind of network of people that you might have as first patients that you can just be like, hey, I'm opening up, like any interest from people that you know? Or
a few, but not a lot. Not that would make a significant difference.
Yeah. Okay. So what I want you to do is I want you to really, really think, where are your patients at? Okay. People who utilize wellness practices like this are usually a little bit more on the health conscious side. So if you can get an ad in a gym or, maybe like a therapist or physical therapist that focuses on obesity treatment or therapy, or maybe like a diet, nutrition store, something like that, like where patients will be. If you can put a little ad in somewhere like that, or especially like a gym, it usually only costs a few $100 a month and it's gold. Like you get lots of patients from it. So kind of keep that in mind.
Okay. So let me see what you think about this. I have this lady that I know. She owns a company where they do like ready to go meals. And I have a good relationship with her. I can figure out how that would like profitable for me. It's like in terms of I can feed some patients, with weight loss, a lot of people struggle with meal prepping. So you just go and the meal's ready. All you have to do is pop it in the microwave and just heat it up for 2 minutes.
Yeah, I think that would be a fantastic funnel to get patients from.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that, hey, can you include this business card with each delivery of the meals? And the business card is the name of your practice, weight loss, utilizing the, newest cutting edge weight loss drug therapy, whatever. Present this card for 20% off your first initial visit or first month of treatment, and have her pop those in. Yeah, have her include those with the delivery of her meal prep. And she'd be like, hey, I'll pay you $250 a month to do this for me. She'd probably be like, okay, why not?
Oh, I didn't think of that. That's great. Well, that's a good idea.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, that's great. Now, the other thing I was getting stuck on. So if I go on the internet and I Google search semaglutide, there's tons of like tele clinics that are offering it for $99, or at least that's what it shows up. Like, how do you compete with those?
Listen, this gets posted on the Facebook group all the time for people scared about that, right? They see that and they're like, how the hell am I supposed to compete with that? Listen, it's just a gimmick to get people in the door, all right? There's no way a weight loss clinic can charge $99 a month for semaglutide and be profitable. There's no way, okay? So don't worry about that. No business owner is going to sit there and give away stuff for free, all right? So there is a catch to it. And I've called a few of those places before, and it sounds like what they're doing is it's like $99 for the initial appointment. And then the price goes back up to $400 a month after the first month or two or whatever. So like they're going to get their money. All right. It's a gimmick.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a gimmick. Listen, you don't need to charge ridiculous amounts of money here. As long as you're making $100 to $150 a month in profit, you are providing a reasonable service at a reasonable cost. Your patients are happy and you're still making money.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Some places charge $1,000 a month. I mean, I think that's just robbery. You don't need to be charging patients that. That's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I saw some people around. They're charging maybe around, on average, $300 to $350 a month.
Yeah, that's
semaglutide.
That's about the going rate.
Okay.
Yeah, I charge $350. It works. We make a decent little profit off of it, and patients love it. They're losing weight.
So I guess another question I had is the pricing of it. So are you seeing, in my head, I'm thinking the patient's going to come in for the initial consultation, or at least in the 1099 clinic that I work in. So what we do, they come in and they pay for the office visit and the consultation. That includes their blood work and EKG, if it's phentermine, EKG, and then we give them a 2-month prescription or a 1-month prescription, and then they go and fill it wherever they want. With the semaglutide, we order it from a compound, but they pay the pharmacy. So they charge like $300 or $350, I think is the price.
For the visit or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you could do that model. I find patients just like the value of an all-inclusive price.
Okay.
They just do it. They get a lot of value out of it. You know what I mean? They just put their credit card on automatic payment and they just pay $350 a month and then get the semaglutide when it's ready for the refill and includes the visits. Like they don't have to worry about, being nickel and dime basically.
Okay. I was looking at the competition out here. Some of the people are having the patients come into the clinic once a week to get the injection. What do you think about? I feel like that's a little inconvenient, but what are your thoughts?
Yeah, my opinion is try to do whatever you possibly can to avoid having patients coming into your office all the time.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to come in for injections. It's just so much more busy work for you. It's not necessary. People can learn how to give themselves a subcutaneous injection. There's absolutely nothing to it.
Right.
Right. There's nothing to it. So avoid that. I don't think it's necessary. A lot of the practices that are doing that, just FYI, that patient's got to go in once a week for an injection. A lot of times it's an insurance-based practice and they want the patient to come in so they can do a injection fee to bill insurance. And even some of these practices will even do like a quick visit with them and bill like a level 2 or 3 visit to insurance. And they just basically just milk the insurance. That's probably what they're doing.
Okay. Got it. So that's that. I'm just going down my list of questions I had. I did have another question regarding the business structure. So I spoke to a lawyer out here, and I'd mentioned doing the LLC in Wyoming. And he gave me the money since I would be paying some kind of fee in both states.
Yeah. So in Wyoming, you have to pay a yearly fee for the LLC. I think it's like $100, $199 or something. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it does increase your costs. The whole reason why you would do the Wyoming LLC is that it basically just makes your operating LLC in your state, it makes the owner anonymous. So it basically protects your privacy. Yeah. It gives you like another little layer of asset protection, basically. It's not necessary. Okay. If you really don't care if people know who own your business, then it doesn't really matter. Like if you're going to be the one working it and patients know you own it, then who cares? Right.
Okay.
My men's health practice, I have multiple locations. I have other nurse practitioners working for me. I don't want people to know who own it.
Okay.
Right. But if you were just like the sole provider and you're the face of it, so to speak, who cares?
Okay.
Okay.
And another thing I was stuck on is a PLLC versus LLC.
Yeah. Okay. So in Texas, I believe, don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure an LLC is fine. Okay. A PLLC is a professional limited liability company. Some states require any kind of professional accountant, doctor, nurse practitioner, whatever, to operate out of a PLLC. And then typically the PLLC will usually have the professional's name in it. It's basically impossible to maintain your privacy with a PLLC. Okay. It's the same thing at the end of the day. Just go with the LLC. It's cheaper usually. And it's less work.
Right. So how do you feel? Do you think that I need a lawyer? I mean, I think I can do like an LLC on like Zoom or those types of services. Since it's a practice and I'm a little concerned about liability and getting, so do you think I need a lawyer to make sure like everything
No.
is done correctly?
No, forming an LLC. Listen, there's nothing to it, okay? You can go to the Secretary of State website, the Texas Secretary of State website. There should be like an online portal or something. You literally get in there, it takes 15 minutes, and you have an LLC formed. And then you get an operating agreement and you're done. Like,
Okay.
there's really nothing to it. You can use an LLC creation service. I like LLC creation services just because it's convenient. It's going to cost you a few $100. Since this is your first business, I say just use an LLC creation service. LegalZoom's expensive. There's probably a lot cheaper ones. Just go to Google and type in Texas LLC creation service. I bet you there's dozens of companies that do it. I bet it costs a couple $100.
Right. Yes. I
Yeah.
wasn't sure since this is like a medical clinic and there's
Nah,
liability and risk
nah,
with it. Maybe I need a
nah.
professional to do it.
No, it doesn't really matter.
Okay.
Like, listen, I mean, if you're going to get sued, they're suing you.
Right.
And then
Okay.
your malpractice kicks in. Yeah.
Okay.
Don't worry too much about that. That's really a $100 question at this point. It really doesn't matter.
Okay.
Any other questions?
My other question is, since I'm assuming, how do you deal with, so my vision is in the future at some point, I would be able to run the clinic full time, but I carry the insurance policy and everything from my family. Do you have any recommendation for like insurance?
Yeah, health insurance.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's one thing that kind of sucks about being an entrepreneur or business owner sometimes, that you got to pay for your own insurance, right? And it's a little bit,
Yes.
and it's kind of expensive, but it's tax deductible. Okay, so it's not really a big deal. You can use our preferred vendor. So if you go to the Elite NP website and click Elite NP GPO at the top, we have a preferred vendor for health insurance. They are a health insurance broker, so they'll shop around
Okay.
for you and find a health insurance
Okay.
policy. Or you
Okay.
can go to your state's. There should be a health insurance exchange, and
Yeah.
so you can use that as well. So either way,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
because I was
use.
just wondering, once I drop down to a part-time, the insurance, my company will offer the insurance, but it's like $1,000 more than what I'm paying now.
Yeah, it might just be cheaper for you. Just have buy your own.
Okay.
Like I said, talk to the vendor, and basically they find you the policy that works for you within your budget. That's why I like using insurance brokers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that sounds good.
Yeah. I mean, listen, all the questions you were asking were very, very relevant. You have the course, follow the steps, make sure you just knock out one thing at a time, get the space, and, market it effectively, and just be patient with it and go into it with realistic expectations. You might not be very profitable for a few months, but at the 3-month mark, the business should be paying for itself. And by the 6-month mark, you should be making, a healthy profit.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions?
No, that's it. Thank you so much. You've helped me so much. I was just getting so stuck in my head and getting
Yeah.
scared and
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
second guessing myself and over analyzing.
Yeah, it is a plague amongst nurse practitioner business owners and entrepreneurs. We definitely get stuck in our head. Analysis paralysis, the overload paralysis. Like, yeah, it sucks. I've been there. I still experience it sometimes, I have multiple businesses. So it really never goes away, but it does get better. So, once you do this first business and you realize, how simple it really is, you'll be like, why didn't I do this years ago? So yeah, no, it's been a pleasure talking to you. I do like to end the episode with you asking me a question. Have you ever had like a personal question or anything that you've ever been interested in terms of about me?
Yeah. So what made you want to venture out? Like, what was the thing that said, screw it, I'm over it?
I was pissed off getting screwed over. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just remember being at an urgent care one time, just like, I am busting my ass for these people. And like, I billed almost $1 million for these people this year. And you know what I mean? Like, and it was just draining my soul. I was just sick of it. I mean, that's really what it was. That's really what pushed me into it. Like, I realized that nurse practitioners have a very obvious career ceiling. I mean, really anyone in healthcare does. It doesn't matter what you are.
Right.
It doesn't matter if you're a nurse practitioner, doctor, radiology technician, an RN, a physical therapist. Like, there is a ceiling to your career. And
Right.
you reach that ceiling within just a couple years. Like, it doesn't take very long to hit that ceiling. You know what I mean? Like, there's nurse practitioners out there that have been working with people for 20 years and are making a little bit more than what they did 20 years ago,
Right.
Yeah,
Yes.
there's no upward movement. Like, once you hit that ceiling, you're pretty much done. Like, you're tapped out. It's like even like an ER doctor. Once they become an ER doctor, they're an ER doctor. Like, that's pretty much it. Once they become a medical director or something, you know what I mean? So
Right.
yeah, so I saw the ceiling and it didn't settle well with me. I'm one of those people who strive to excel, and I just didn't like that idea. So
That's good. Well, thank you for you. If it wasn't for you, you helped so many people. So I'm grateful.
All right. Well, you are welcome. It's a pleasure to help. So listen, keep me updated. If you ever want to do a follow-up, just let me know. Okay.
Yes. Thank you so much, Justin.
All right. You're welcome. Take care of yourself.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, I hope everyone enjoyed the episode with Marie. Pretty solid episode, full of all kinds of pearls, especially for those that are in the startup phase of opening their practice. All the questions she asked were extremely relevant. We didn't go over step-by-step stuff. That's what the courses are for. We're not going to go over all that stuff on a podcast. But the questions she asked were relevant. So if you are in the startup phase of your practice, listen to this episode again, okay? All the questions were pertinent to the startup phase. Important thing here is try to keep it lean, okay? A cheaply started business is a business that can be cheaply closed. And then an expensive business is expensive to close, okay? Keep that in mind. You don't need to spend much to get started, guys. $5,000 to $10,000 is all you need. These little niche practices are great businesses to start. They really are. And it'll increase your freedom as a nurse practitioner. Like, you will get past that ceiling, okay? You are very, very limited as an employee nurse practitioner. There is a ceiling to your career. Once you hit that ceiling, you are pretty much done. But as a business owner, it's unlimited, all right? So if you are in the startup phase of your business, listen to this again, full of all kinds of excellent pearls. All right, well, I hope everyone enjoyed this episode. I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks, bye. Thank you for listening to the show. Quick legal disclaimer. The content of this podcast is meant for informational and entertainment purposes only and should not be used as legal, financial, medical, regulatory, or practice-specific advice. For information pertaining to your specific legal, financial, medical, or practice-specific needs, please be sure to consult with your lawyer, CPA, medical director, and/or your state's practice laws and the most up-to-date clinical guidelines. As always, do your due diligence when it comes to any information found online and in podcasts. The content in this podcast is copyrighted by Galaxy Medical Southwest 2023 and cannot be duplicated, rebroadcasted, or reproduced without our written permission.